So here we are live once again. Good evening, folks. Mobile Giza here with Friday Night Tech Talk. And we do this every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern from the U.S. East Coast. Though we have a few people from around the country and from a couple of other countries normally dropping in. So we discussed mobile stories or tech stories from the last week, from last Friday to this Friday, either what I think has been the hot stories, and there hasn't really been any hot stories this week, at least from my point of view. Yes, other than that, I try to find you guys some stories that I think are interesting and maybe you haven't heard everywhere. So that's what we're doing tonight. Oh, and Eleanor was the first one here tonight. She, of course, wished everybody a fabulous weekend. She's still recovering from her foot surgery, and she's doing well. So thanks for everybody who's been praying. Please continue to do so. Got Tech for Your Needs in here. Glad to have you here, Louis. And what did he say? He's saying, I know it's been a long time that I haven't been around in a while. That's understandable. We're all really busy, and I understand that. I haven't been in on your streams for a while too. So we get to each other when we can. So Eleanor was first. Brian, of course, was second. He got in 7:43. Okay. So we'll see who else comes in. Normally we have Renz dropping in from the Philippines. We have Pat, I think, from over in England. He drops in once in a while. And let's see who else. Ted has been joining me on the broadcast from Texas lately, so it's always much better when he does that. Mike is still door dashing, so he had said in a video about a month ago that he expected that sometime in May he would be back in on the Friday Night Tech Talk Live. So I'm hoping at some point he has time to drop in, but I know he's been busy. And each week I try to remember. Last week I didn't, to show you what phones I'm carrying today. So I do have the Galaxy S23 Ultra. This is what I took to work with me today. And I also had the Z Flip 4. Those were the two phones I carried to work. I usually have my Pixel 7 because as far as the display, when I look at the comments and display stays up for 30 minutes, that's one reason I use that. So those are the three I have with me. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview. So I worked today and I got home today and this was waiting for me. So it's the Samsung Galaxy A54 5G. And if you look closely, you'll see that I have not yet opened it. So there'll be an unboxing tomorrow or Sunday, but give you guys a little preview, just let you see what's coming. So now I have two budget phones that I can compare with each other. The Moto G Power and the A54, both 5G. So, Louis, thank you so much. Very kind of you, sir. Always appreciate it. And you know it's going to a good cause, like paying for these phones that I keep buying. Appreciate it very much, sir. Okay, so let me show any of you guys that don't know how this works. Every week you can find tonight's stories on my webpage. So let me go share screen and show that. So my webpage, let me get some of my brand stuff out of the way for a second. So my webpage is mobilegeezer.wordpress.com. If you come here, you click on today's date, that'll pull up just tonight's stories. So these are the show notes for tonight. So while we're here, of course, I always give you guys a preview. So I started with Kyocera because at first, as of yesterday, I thought this was a big deal story. This was from Android Authority, and they changed the name since yesterday. They changed the name of the article because they got faked out like I got faked out. It looked like Kyocera was shutting down their mobile business, but not so. So we'll see that when we do the first story. Then we're going to just take a quick look at the Nothing Phone 2 because they're stepping up their processor from what they had the 700 series in the first one. So we'll take a quick look at that story. And then turns out, we have to talk some kind of GPT or some kind of AI. Turns out there's some fake GPTFs and they're raking in the dollars according to Tom's Guide. So we'll take a look at that. And then on Leaks and Smart Picks, leak some renders of the Pixel 8 Pro, and it looks like it has a built-in thermometer. So we'll take a quick look at that story. Interestingly, there was a video out there showing the entire video using the thermometer stuff. Well, they pulled that video off. It's still, you can still see little pieces of it in the story when we get to it, but that the entire video is no longer there. And then, of course, we'll go to ChatGPT-4. Turns out the CEO of OpenAI, who's the ones who own ChatGPT-4, even he's worried about how safe AI is going to be. So we'll take a look at that story. And the last story, it's tech, but it's cars. And part of the reason I chose this is because I drive a Kia Sportage of 2017. So they've been having trouble with them being stolen for a while. So we'll take a quick look at that story and see how Honda and Kia came to a $200 million settlement. So those are the 6 stories we're going to take a look at today. So let me stop screen. Let me go back and put my branding on here that I usually have. And back to the comments. Okay, nothing new in the comments. So if Ted pops in here or by some miracle Michael will, I will definitely let you guys know. But we're going to go take a look at our first story. So, of course, if I'm totally alone, it'll be a quicker night rather than a longer night. So we'll see how that goes. So what I said was Kyocera, another phone company, packs it in. Well, that was yesterday. Today we have an update. So now they've changed their title. Kyocera alters consumer smartphone strategy. So now they weren't packing it in. They were just altering their strategy. So they have a statement. So we'll do the original story first, and then we'll go back and look at the update, which came yesterday. So from a couple of days ago, just as HTC announced the revival of its U-series phones, another company says it will be bowing out, and that's what threw everybody off, of the consumer smartphone market. However, it won't be giving up on making smartphones entirely. In the report from the Japanese publication Nikkei, Kyocera announced it is waving the white flag on its consumer smartphone business, which we found out now is not true. This announcement was made during a financial results briefing for the end of the fiscal year. As to why the company is giving up on consumer smartphones, it appears to be related to high costs and an inability to make profit, according to Google. And this is where the problem came into a Google translated quote. So it was a mistranslation initially from President Hideo Tanimoto. The spread of high-speed communication standard 5G will raise the cost of terminals, said Tanimoto. We decided to withdraw because we could not make a profit. So you'll see in the update, that's kind of true, but you'll see it. The outlet points to the company points out that the company doesn't disclose sales figures for its mobile phone business. However, it's believed that when the fiscal year came to a close, half of its total sales were to consumers and the other half to corporations. Kyocera won't be totally abandoning its phone business, however. Instead, the company will reportedly shift its focus strictly to the corporate side. So that's what's not true, but they are leaning more towards corporate. Tanimoto also mentioned that some of its consumer models that are used in conjunction with corporate customers will still be supported. Keep in mind, Kyocera is probably the most rugged phone out there, so that's what keeps them in business. This new development will mark the end of a nearly 35-year run for the company in the consumer handset market. So, of course, that statement is definitely not true. Now, let's go look at the update. So, this is the update they put out. Kyocera reached out to Android authorities to clarify that the original news described below is inaccurate due to translation errors. Instead, Kyocera is restructuring its consumer strategy in Japan to more closely align with its business-first strategy in North America. So basically, in North America, they push the business phones above the general consumer phones. Well, now they're doing the same thing in Japan, and it all got muddled up in the translation. Here's a Kyocera statement from Vipul Dalal, Vice President of the Communications Equipment Group at Kyocera International of San Diego. Kyocera refocused its North American wireless phone market strategy to emphasize business solutions several years ago. And our Japan-based parent company is now doing the same in the Japanese market, and that's the real story. The rugged durability of a Kyocera smartphone remains attractive to many consumers, and consumers can continue to purchase our smartphones as they always have through carriers such as Verizon, so you can get them at Verizon, which is very good, both in-store and online, and through the Kyocera website. Now, I've never had a Kyocera phone, but I know Jay Will has, and so has Serrano Butler. So if you want to look on their channels, you can look up Kyocera, and they have had them, and they've had them more than once. So just want to let you guys know. So Kyocera is not going out of business. So if you're still looking for that most rugged of all phones, it's still available. So let's close that and stop screen. And Annette is here. Hey, Annette. Welcome to California. I mean, welcome to here to you in California. So, and Lucy, I think you're in Canada, I believe. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I think that's right. Let's see. Okie dokie. So Ted has not come in and nobody else has come in. So we will continue on. Oh, and anybody who's interested, like Annette, you might be interested. Eleanor is still recovering nicely with her foot surgery. We saw the surgeon the other day, and she's basically doing what she's supposed to be doing with elevating her feet and icing them. She's going stir crazy, of course, but other than that, she's doing fine. Oh, okay. And Lewis, okay, he did straighten me out. I'm in Boston, born and raised in Boston. Okay. You make me want to say, it feels like the first time. Okay, I spent too many years in rock bands. All right. Let's go back to the show notes. The next story is Nothing Phone 2, and I haven't had the Nothing Phone 1 as yet, so we'll see how that goes. Nothing Phone 2 stepping up the processor. This is, again, Android Authority. So let's take it. Some people will be excited about this, I'm sure. Nothing Phone 2 processor revealed. A big step up from Phone 1, and that's very true. The Nothing Phone 2 will use the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 instead of the latest Silicon. So no more 700 series. They really have stepped it up. So let's put this in review, get rid of some of these ads. Okay. And this was by Oliver Craig. Nothing confirmed back at MWC 2023 that the upcoming Nothing phone, they should have said 2, would be powered by a Snapdragon 8 series processor. Now, company founder Carl Pei has dished out specific details. Pei tweeted that Nothing Phone 2 would be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 SoC. This processor featured in plenty of flagship phones like we have right here in the second half of 2022. So why did the company choose this particular SoC? Pei outlined several reasons. For one, the Nothing founder says the processor deserved a major, albeit unsurprising, power boost over the Nothing Phone 1's Snapdragon 778G. So it is a big jump plus chipset. More specifically, Pei says app opening speeds were twice as fast, sure, while overall performance saw an 80% improvement. That's a lot. We noticed this performance gap in our own testing with a massive gap between the Nothing Phone 1 and the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 phones when it came to GPU tests. Pei also cited camera capability as a reason to choose this processor, saying that this enabled Nothing Phone 2 features like RAW HDR and 4K 60 FPS support. That makes perfect sense with that processor. He also pointed to the TSMC 4 nanometer design, enabling improved power consumption and reduced heating. Yes, and the 8 Plus Gen 1 was known for that, for both of those things. Why didn't we see the current Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor inside this phone? I think you can guess why. Sometimes the latest technology comes at a cost which isn't always justified from a user benefit standpoint, Pei tweeted, suggesting that the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 was too expensive for what users would get. And since they're getting such a nice jump, I agree with them. So opting for the latest flagship processor would presumably lead to higher phone to price tag or a reduced profit margin. So I think they made the right call. So the Snapdragon Gen 2 will be getting a much improved processor, and those of us that have the stop screen. So those of us that have the Galaxy S series, we know that the processor is pretty awesome. And for me, as I've said a few others, and so have others, right now for me, the Galaxy S23 Ultra is the best phone out there. Just my opinion. And I still prefer it just a little bit over my iPhone 14 Pro Max. And the Pro Max, if you remember, was my phone of the year last year. So it tells you the S23 Ultra is a pretty awesome phone, in my opinion. So, next week, I'll probably be doing a story comparing the A54 to the S23 Ultra because I found a story doing that. So I'm going to probably do a little testing of that myself. And let's see what else. Nothing new. Now, the one thing new in here was, and that's it. So glad to hear that about her. Yes, that she's doing well. Thank you. All right, so back to the stories. Like I said, it will go fast unless Ted or somebody joins me. So share screen again. Back to the notes. Okay. Pixel 8 Pro. No, I'm sorry. We're going to the fake ChatGPT apps are raking in the dollars. This is from Tom's Guide. And Tom's Guide usually knows what all the scams, where I find all the information for scams and that kind of thing. So let's take a quick look. Fake chat GPT apps are raking in thousands each month. Delete these apps now. There's only a few of them, but I thought it'd be interesting to show you the story. And this is not malware. This is people charging you for stuff that should be free. So fleeceware, that's what they call it. Apps imitating ChatGPT are charging users for features that are free elsewhere. So into review. And that was by Anthony Spatafora, who does a lot of these kind of stories for Tom's Guide. The popularity of OpenAI's ChatGPT is putting users who want to try out the AI chatbot on their smartphones at risk of losing their hard-earned cash. While we've seen fake ChatGPT apps spreading malware in the past, a new report from the cybersecurity firm Sophos has revealed that app developers are also creating fake ChatGPT apps to trick users into paying for expensive subscriptions. So once it becomes a subscription, it's going to cost you some money. During its investigation, the company's security researchers looked at 5 ChatGPT apps on the App Store and Google Play Store. Although these apps aren't malicious, Sophos says they are actually fleeceware, as they bombed users with ads until they sign up for a subscription. So I guess the ads must be pretty bad if you feel like you're forced to sign up for a subscription. Most of these types of apps are free to install, but since the free versions have near zero functionality and constant ads, according to Sophos, users are more likely to sign up for a subscription. These subscriptions can get quite expensive, with their developers charging anywhere from $10 a month to $70 a year. So that's pretty expensive. Let's see, fleeceware apps. Sophos was actually the first to spot fleeceware on the Play Store back in 2019. One interesting thing about all these kinds of apps is that they are designed in such a way to stay on the edge of what's allowed by Google and Apple in terms of service. Malicious apps often operate in a similar way, but unlike fleeceware apps, they can infect the best Android phones with dangerous malware. Still, though, you want to be on the lookout for fleeceware, as these types of apps can end up costing you quite a lot of money if you aren't careful. Besides overcharging users for functionality that is free elsewhere, the creators of these apps also use social engineering and coercive tactics to trick users into signing up for recurring subscriptions. Even then, many of these apps are often poorly written, and upgrading to the paid version makes little difference. So that's even twice as bad, in my opinion. Another way that fleeceware developers can get their apps installed on smartphones is by inflating their ratings in app stores by using fake reviews. We've heard that before, along with annoying requests to get users to rate them. Below, you'll find the full list of all the fleeceware apps posing as legitimate chatbot and ChatGPT apps on the App Store and Play Store. So there's only 6 of them. While you don't necessarily need to delete them, I would. You probably should, unless you want to end up paying for an expensive subscription for features that you can actually access for free. So Open ChatGPT, AI chatbot, Ask AI Assistant, and the first one, continued AI chatbot app, AI Chat GPT, Open Chatbot app, AI Chatbot, they're almost the same name, Chatbot AI Assistant, Genie AI chatbot, and AI chatbot, Open Chat Writer. So you have any of these on your phone, get rid of them, because if you're paying anything, you're wasting money. Sophos has reported all these apps as to both Apple and Google, and may have since been removed from their respective app stores. However, if you have one installed on your smartphone, you will need to manually remove it by uninstalling the app. So then it goes on to tell you how to access ChatGPT without getting scammed. Trying out the latest software, especially when it's as popular as ChatGPT, makes it quite easy for app developers to trick users into signing up for a subscription to get access. However, the only way to get quick and guaranteed access to ChatGPT is to sign up for OpenAI's ChatGPT Plus for $20 a month. So it's kind of like a subscription. I can see where people might get confused. Likewise, you can also get access to the chatbot by using Bing Chat, which is the way if I use it at all, that's where I'm going to use it because it's totally free, as Microsoft has partnered with OpenAI to bring ChatGPT to its search engine. There's another advantage to going this route as well, since Bing Chat has access to the latest data since it uses GPT-4, that's right, and searches the internet by default. ChatGPT, on the other hand, stopped training in 2021 and runs on GPT 3.5. So you're not going to get anything later than data from 2021. So you're much better off using Bing, I think. As of now, though, OpenAI has yet to release an official ChatGPT app for mobile. When it does, we'll certainly have all the info here, so stay tuned. Until then, you'll need to open up a new browser window on your smartphone and head to OpenAI.com to access ChatGPT for free on mobile. So anybody using it, just wanted to get that out there. And I think Brian, let's see. He was talking about the SoC. The best mid-range is last year's flagship SoC, which makes sense for I'm trying to get rid of some stuff here for the Nothing Phone 2. And back to Brian. I just delete the app, if it behaves like that. The problem is everybody doesn't, Brian. So, but yeah, that's the absolute thing to do. So, nothing else new in the comments. So we will go back to the show notes. Okay. And down to the next story, which is the Pixel 8 Pro. This is from Android Police. Kind of interesting. Okay, leaked Google Pixel 8 Pro video shows a new design and a built-in thermometer. This is the first video of the Pixel 8 series. And like I said, that video was out here and you could go find it yesterday. I looked late last night. All of a sudden it was gone. Well, it seems like it's gone from everywhere now, because it was in the story initially, but it's not anymore. But you can get a quick look at what the thermometer looks like. So let's go into reader view. Oh, now this is the one I need to not go into reader view because it doesn't show us what we need to see. So we'll deal with the ads for this one. The Google Pixel 8 series is expected later this year, and now the first leaked video of the design has arrived along with a confirmation of one of its new big features. A video from tipster Kuba Wichowski provided to 91 Mobile shows us the new design of the upcoming flagship phone, and it also demonstrates a new built-in thermometer, which is kind of cool, and that's what we're going to see. The new thermometer feature is a white sensor positioned on the rear of the phone in the camera bar just below the LED flash. And you can see that right here. Okay. It's an infrared thermometer designed to measure the temperature of your body. We've seen this feature on smartphones in the past, such as the Honor Play 4 Pro, but this is the first time we've seen it on a Pixel product. The technology appears to be similar to other contactless thermometers, as the leaked video is a guide on how to use the feature. Now, initially, there was a video showing her picking it up and the whole bit, but this is the main part. Somehow they kept this part, but the rest of the video has been taken away. In the video, the person is told to identify the monitor, remove any accessories like glasses that may block bare skin around the forehead, and then bring the phone close to the face. You don't want to touch. The sensor doesn't need to touch your forehead, but you then move the phone around your temple over a period of 5 seconds. So I guess you go very slowly to get a full reading from the thermometer. So you can see her doing it right here. It's very close, and she just slowly turns it, and it gives her the temperature, which I think is pretty cool. It's unclear where this video has been sourced from, and I guess that's why they pulled it down. But this appears to be internal materials from Google that shows how the feature works. Initially, this was in the initial video, and this was where it started. 91 Mobile says that the Pixel 8 Pro is being tested by Google employees, and that's probably who let that video get out there. And it currently seems like the feature won't be available on the standard Pixel 8. So you're only going to get this on the Pro, they're thinking. The sensor will be able to measure the temperature of objects, but the video doesn't show how that works. So it shows the person taking that temperature, but you can also get the temperature of objects, but we're not seeing that yet. The Pixel 8 Pro design is shown briefly in this video, and it largely looks similar to what we saw in the Pixel 7 Pro. The main difference is the camera bar now features all 3 sensors within the same module, which I believe you can see here, or you can certainly see up here. Well, it's kind of dark, so you can't really see it. On the Pixel 7 Pro, there were 3 cameras, but they were positioned differently. The overall design of the phone looks similar here, and this is a white variant of the phone with a silver camera bar running along the device. This is the first major leak of the Pixel 8 series we've seen so far, and we expect to introduce the handsets properly toward the end of the year. If it follows its previous schedules, we can expect them at some point during October. In the meantime, the Pixel Fold will be on sale next month, which we all know. Anybody wants to donate $1,800 to me, I'll get the Pixel Fold too. Just throwing that out there. Okay, let's stop screen. See anything new? Oh, and here comes Ted. Oh, you're in the car.
No, I'm not.
Can you hear me?
Hey.
There you are. There you are. Oh, I feel like a rapper. There you are in the car. Okay.
Okay. Oh, turning that off. Hey, what's up? Pardon my lateness.
That's all right. You got here with 2 stories left, so you're good. So are you on your way to somewhere or coming from somewhere?
I would like to come from. I just came from a popcorn place.
Okay. And Brian, thank you as always, sir. Always very much appreciated. You're very kind. He said Pixel Fold Fund. Okay. Well, Brian, you could just send the whole $1,800. I'm good. Ted, you didn't see this. I gave them a little preview. I got home from work, and this was waiting for me. So this will be a fair comparison with the Moto, and you've got the Moto in your hand. And we can't hear you anymore. All of a sudden, your sound is gone. You're silent. Yeah, your mouth was moving, but nothing was coming. Uh-oh. He popped out on us. Hopefully, he'll pop back in. Let's see. Brian said the thermometer will measure how much it will overheat doing 4K 60 video recording. Yes, Brian has had more problems with that than just about anybody I know. So his jaded attitude makes very, very much sense. And of course, he's saying, "What up, Ted?" Okay, let's see. Ted's back. Now, try talking. Let's see if we can hear you. Don't wave, talk. Oh, wait. He disappeared again. I guess we weren't going to hear him. So we're going to try to hang on so we can hear him. I always feel better when Ted comes in here because he's the young one, he's the handsome one, and now he's sitting in a dark hall where we can hardly see him. Okay, I'll deal with that. So the only one you get to see in good light is the old fart. That's just how it is. Yeah, Luther, we're trying to straighten that out. Here he comes again. Let's see. Now we can hear you again. And I'm also hearing myself in echo a lot. And you're not coming through clearly talking.
You reckon because I'm using the Firefox browser?
Yeah, I think so. It's very, very scratchy. Almost unintelligible. Not quite, but almost. I had my moonroof open when I did my video the other day. All right. He's popped out on us again. Ted is messing with us tech-wise. We're used to that, aren't we, folks? All right, I'm trying to save the last two stories for when he comes in. At least we got him in here for a little bit. That was good. Let's see. Yeah. Sometimes I'm not sure if Ted is having tech woes. Sometimes he just sits there when he's at home and messes with the lighting just to mess with our minds, or maybe just my mind. So we're kind of used to that here. And believe me, Ted gets a kick out of it to some degree. Trust me. Especially when he's messing around with the lighting. So let's. Okay, here he's back again. All right, let's try it again.
Everything okay?
It's a lot better. It's a lot better.
All right, I'm using the Chrome browser now.
Okay, that's a whole lot better. So you're using Chrome while we're looking at your Chrome Dome. Oh, I couldn't leave that alone. You know I had to say that.
You're getting an echo?
Just a little bit, not terribly, but yeah, a little bit.
Okay. All right then. Driving home.
Okay. Now, are you in what part of Dallas are you in right now? South, north?
I'm in central Dallas. I'm approaching Deep Ellum.
Don't know that. I know Dallas a little bit. Remember, the last time I was in Dallas, well, let's see. I was in Fort Worth for the last what was the mobile conference we used to have? Barbecue, the Big Android Barbecue.
Oh, okay.
And that was what, 2015, 20?
That's a lifetime ago in tech.
Yeah, because I remember meeting Jerry from Android Central, and he was very nice. And then the last time I was in Dallas, I spent 2 months on a programming contract, and I was basically working in Addison, but I was living in an apartment in Dallas, and I think I was in Carrollton at that time.
Okay. Well, we're south of Addison here.
Okay. And that made sense, because I remember coming up, I think it was I-35, you'd come straight out of Dallas, right away you're in Addison, right?
Yep.
Okay. I see the old guy, and this was back in 93. I think it was June, July, and August of 93. Let's see. Lewis is asking, what is the best product you have bought so far this year? By far, the Galaxy S23 Ultra. This phone is by far the best phone I've ever had. And I know people have heard me say that before, but keep in mind, the tech in most of these phones get incrementally better. But when I picked my iPhone 14 Pro Max for the best phone of last year, I didn't think anything would go past it. But this phone has, and a lot of other people seem to feel the same way. So yeah, that's the best product I bought this year. I'm trying to think. Well, I also bought a refurbished MacBook Air M1. So as far as best product of the year, it'll be that or this phone. So I put it at a tie between the two. Okay. So, Ted, you're in no position to do stories, I assume, because you're driving. Okay.
No, but I was thinking what was the best tech product I bought this year, and
Go ahead.
I don't think there's any yet.
You didn't buy anything yet this year?
I don't think I bought anything yet this year.
Wait. You bought a Pixel 7 this year, didn't you?
December. That was December of 2022.
Oh, I was thinking it was January. Okay.
I'm thinking maybe it would be I think most of my tech purchases are gonna come in October.
So you're just using me, and that's why you're using the Moto. I get you. Okay.
I think I could have done, if I was using you, I think I could have used you a whole lot better.
Well, I mean, you say you're enjoying the phone, and you say the camera's pretty good. So, and of course, Brian had to say the Pixel 7 ain't all that good. Now, for me, I have found the Pixel 7 to be nothing but good for me. I know some people don't like the battery life, and I know a few people had overheating on this, but most of the overheating, as far as I know, has been on the Pixel 7 Pro. But
now,
go ahead.
I mean, no, I've started getting the overheating warnings too now that summer is coming here to Texas. So,
okay, you too.
Not
okay,
the summer, spring is coming to Texas and it's overheating.
Right, and of course, your spring is more like the rest of the country's summer. But I know Mike, he had the overheating issue at his nephew's birthday party, and it got bad where he couldn't use it. Remember?
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it was about a month ago. His nephew turned 11 or 12, and Mike was using the Pixel 7, and it overheated so bad he had to stop shooting video.
But
and I think he didn't have another phone with him.
I was filming last weekend. I was actually shooting dry rehearsals on this phone.
Okay.
And what was interesting is that it gave me an overheating warning.
Right.
But I wasn't even. I wasn't actually recording. I just had the viewfinder open.
Okay. Yeah. And I guess the Pixel 7 is not as bad, but I had pulled out my 5A last week thinking that the updates had made it better. And it looked like it did when I was doing 4K 30. But 4K 60, it was 84 degrees outside, and it didn't like it so much. As soon as I touched it, it said, "You're overheated, you can't do it." So it wouldn't let me record 10 seconds at all.
I don't like this.
Yeah.
It looks like we've entered that period. I don't know, you both probably know this, George, but in the camera world, there was a big period where, cameras would overheat, and we always had to watch out for it. But
yeah, I read about it a lot, but of course I wasn't using real DSLRs at those times. I've only used DSLRs basically at home for the most part.
Yeah, it was the mirrorless cameras, just when mirrorless was finally selling more than DSLRs.
Oh, okay.
But now we've entered the period where the mirrorless cameras, their overheating days are they're leaving it behind. But
thank God.
For these phones, it looks like
I just saw an article the other day that was it Sony or one of the big camera makers was about to stop making DSLRs entirely, like most of the others have.
That's probably either Canon said that the last DSLR.
It was Canon. You're right.
Yeah, the 1DX Mark III would be their last DSLR.
Right. So, but I guess because you're right, because the overheating days are pretty much over and things are stable.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's not cool that the phones are getting into it now when they didn't have this problem so much in the past.
Well, I'd say generally, it's not generally the phones. There's been a couple of other phones I've had overheating, but the Pixels have been way worse than the others, haven't they? That's my impression anyway.
I never heard overheating concerns with the first Pixel or the second or the third.
No. I'd say it's with the 5, the 6, and the 7, and it's much more with the A's than the regular one. So it's like, why can't they get it right with the A's? Anyway, like I said, I've had no problems with this particular Pixel 7, but I haven't had the Pixel 7 Pro at all. So, and like you say, it's just starting to get where it's like 85, 90 almost every day here. So as I do filming with the Pixel 7, I'll be finding out whether or not it's going to overheat. So we'll see.
Good luck.
You want to stick with me while I read the last 2 stories?
What's the next story about? I can
Next
probably
story, OpenAI's CEO worries about AI, being a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can probably do a chat GPT and guess what he's going to say in the article.
Yeah.
At
least he's being honest, and he's basically begging the government to step in and regulate them. So, okay, here we go. I'm going to share this, and I'll put it out here. And this was on I pulled this off of Fox News, which I usually don't get stories from, but that's who I saw this from. So, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman admits his biggest fear for AI: it can go quite wrong. Altman said if AI goes wrong, it could go quite wrong. So I'm going to drop this into Reader View, get rid of the ads. Okay, and this was by Peter Kasparowicz. That's a tough name for me. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman told a panel of senators Tuesday that his greatest fear for his company develops artificial intelligence capabilities is that it causes major harmful disruption for people, and acknowledged that AI has this potential downside if it isn't properly regulated. So yeah, he's in Washington begging him to regulate him. My worst fears is that the field, the technology industry, can cause significant harm to the world, Altman told the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee. I think that could happen in lots of different ways. It's why we started the company. I think if this technology goes wrong, it can go quite wrong, and we want to be very vocal about that. I love that honesty. We want to work with the government to prevent that from happening. Good for him. Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, takes his seat before the start of the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on Privacy, Technology, and the Law Subcommittee hearing on oversight of AI rules for artificial intelligence on Tuesday, so this past Tuesday. But we try to be very clear-eyed about what the downside case is and the work that we have to mitigate that. Altman's admission and comments from him and other witnesses about the need for government regulation around AI prompted Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois to note that companies rarely come to Congress to say, please regulate us. That's true, but they're all saying it now, and I give them credit for that. Subcommittee Chairman Richard Blumenthal, Connecticut, said one of his specific worries is job loss, and Altman acknowledged that jobs would likely be affected. Altman acknowledged that if AI isn't regulated properly, it could go quite wrong. Okay. Like with all technological revolutions, I expect there to be significant impact on jobs, but exactly what that impact looks like is very difficult to predict. So he's being very honest, I think. But Altman also said he was optimistic on how jobs might evolve around this new technology. I agree. I believe there will be far greater jobs on the other side of this, and the jobs of today will get better. I think it will entirely automate some jobs, and it will create new ones that we believe will be much better. Yeah, I think what will probably happen, some people will lose their jobs to automation, but if they wait a couple of years, it'll probably get better with the new technology. Were you saying,
Some
sir?
people? You said some people?
Yeah, because I don't think everybody, they're going to be.
I think a lot of people.
Well, I mean, there'll be some, but keep in mind, there's always those
I
of us. Remember, I was a programmer for 34 years. You learn
think
stuff while you're
industry
still working, so you may not lose your job in the first place.
you may in the first place, but after a while, all right, goodbye. I
And
think
I,
we are
I
going
always
to
think
lose
there'll be a greater need for.
industries.
I always think there'll be a greater need for programmers and developers than you just can't lay them on more. Oh, Renz is
Yeah.
here. Renz, thank you. Renz must be working hard. He just gave me a nice donation, but he must be working hard because that's the first time we've heard from him today. Where's Big House? I didn't see him.
I think
Oh,
entire industries.
Big House just snuck a donation in here too. Thank you, sir. Thank you both. Appreciate it very
I
much,
think
as
entire
always. Of course.
industries will be displaced, and current industries shrink because of AI. So I don't know if the new jobs created from this would actually, make up for the jobs this thing can take away.
I think tech jobs will make up for a lot, but I think the first major jobs, and I'm thinking 10, 15 years from now, the first major big job losses you're going to see are driving jobs like mine, like truck drivers. You're not going to need those kind of people anymore at all, period. And I'm thinking that's 10 or 15 years from now, but
Yeah, I think those jobs are safe. That might happen 50 years from now.
and I disagree. Because technology always exponentially speeds up, and it's still doing that.
Technology speeds up, but people, the driving industry is where, people have been digging their heels against for so long.
Well, I'm the weirdo because I'm the guy who loves driving probably more than anybody you'll ever meet in your life. But at the same time, I'm the guy who always embraces the new technology too. So I won't be digging my heels in, but I'll always be looking for another way to drive more. I'm the guy who will drive from here to California in 2 days and do it by myself. I don't know anybody else but me who could do that.
They're making self-driving cars, but they all have driving wheels for people. So until that changes, I don't think drivers need to worry just anything.
And I agree. I just think that's going to change in the next 10 or 15 years. I don't think you're going to need us behind those wheels in 10 or 15 years. Nobody thought AI would be this fast, but look what's happening now. Last 2 years ago, nobody thought AI would be developed this fast, this far, but it is. So it's exponential. It's always exponential.
I think it's going to be, white collar jobs like, customer service, analysts, those people's jobs. If the entire industry doesn't disappear, it's going to shrink incredibly small.
You're right about that. I just think ultimately it'll be more blue collar jobs disappearing than white collar jobs. But you're right about that. People who write for a living and that kind of stuff, answer phones for a living, they're going to just disappear. And they're going to have to go learn something new. And I think they will, if they're open-minded enough. Somebody like me, I'm always ready to learn something new. I didn't even start my programming career until I was 36 years old. Because
what are they going to learn, Joe?
I wanted something. I was driving a truck. I used to deliver for the last 7 years. I delivered beauty supplies, and I was always going into beauty shops, and they would always tell me, "You don't talk like a truck driver. You talk like somebody with a college education." So I finally said, "Okay, I'm going to go back to college because I know I don't talk like a truck because I'm somewhat of an education junkie."
Did you always say, or you didn't finish your driving?
Say it again.
Did you have a college education, or you didn't finish?
I went back. I got enough to get my associates, and then I started working so much and got so busy at my program, I just didn't go back. I went back and did a couple of more. Now I could probably have a bachelor's degree with all the credits I have, but I never needed it.
No.
It was just something I took to, and it turned out I was good at. I ended up having this specialty that was very hot. Job-wise in the 80s and 90s, leading up to Y2K. So all I did was just kept making more money, and there was always another job for me. And of course, I worked in New York City. So in those days, because Y2K was still years out, If you didn't like a job, you just went and got another job the next day and probably got $5,000 more too. And it was easy to do, you know.
Fortunately, the job market of then is not the job market of now.
That's true, but I mean, look at me. I retired from programming December of 2015. Well, I was 70 when I retired, but all through my 60s, I was learning new technologies. I was learning new programming languages. Well, I learned them, you know. So anybody can do that. It's just a matter of working hard.
Yeah. People just need to learn programming.
Exactly. And programming is, I remember when I first started, a guy who had a lot of experience, he said to me, always keep something in mind with programming. You have all these languages, but it always goes back to the same machine language. And I never forgot that. No matter what languages you're programming in, it's always going back to the same language. So you're always going to end up in the same place. And I never forgot that. That was very good advice. Anyway, let me see if I can finish this article. See, jobs. Oh, I was almost finished the article anyway. There will be an impact on jobs. We try to be very clear about that, and I think it will require partnership between the industry and government, but mostly action by government to figure out how we want to mitigate that. But I'm very optimistic about how great the jobs of the future will be. I agree with him. The top Republican on the subcommittee, Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri, said he's worried about how AI might be used to create fake campaign ads in an effort to sway people with fraud. And that's going to be a big issue with AI. AI can do a lot of fake stuff.
Now.
Yeah, they're doing it now, and it can fool a lot of people. So that's where I think the government needs to jump on this stuff and jump on it now. So I agree with you.
We are doomed.
Oh, you stop. I wouldn't mind joining an army to fight the Terminators. You know, I'm that kind of guy, though.
We're asking. He was asking, the government to close the stable door when the horses are already let out. He should have come.
That's true, but it's still good to hear the guy who has the most functional AI at the moment asking them to do it. I think that's good.
Now that he's already released it, come on. He could have done it. Could have been a bit more proactive.
Brian agrees with you. AI will end more jobs than it will create. And that may be true, but I think that's because a lot of people are very resistant to learning something new. I think as long as you're willing to learn something new, you can always go find another job. I've always found that to be true in my life.
Or it depends on what you're willing to learn new. Are you willing to be seamstress? People are going to need to mend clothes.
No, I'm willing to learn anything tech-wise new.
The thing is that AI is getting better and better at tech. So, why do you need more people to learn it?
Because the only way it's going to continue to get better at tech is for somebody to program it to get better at tech at some point. Now, at some point, it'll probably take over for itself, but I think that's many years away. Anyway.
I think that point is now.
No, we're not there yet.
No. Now, remember? You remember the CAPTCHA? Remember the CAPTCHA?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the past, we were training AI on how to read the CAPTCHA. Pick the cars, the fire hydrant.
Yeah, that's true. And
now we've trained it to, and now we've trained it so that it doesn't really need us anymore. It's actually it's legit testing us now to see, hey, do you really know which one is which?
Hey, Keith just came in. Keith, who was with us in Vegas.
Hey.
Elno agrees with Brian too. Oh no, Elno agrees with you, Ted.
And Brian.
Yeah, and Brian, I guess. And okay, it's big house. All right, I'm going to. Are you close to home, or I'm going to skip my Hyundai and Kia story because it was more about me than anything else because I drive a Kia, and they've already fixed mine with a recall. Are you close to
Hold
home?
on. Can you still see me?
Yeah. Yeah, but you're frozen.
Yeah, I'm
now.
close to home. I'm sitting.
Yeah, you're.
It's all right. I'm getting the stories.
Oh, you are getting the stories. Okay.
Yep.
Well then,
Oh yeah, that's the last one's about the Kia. Yeah, you can do that.
yeah, we're gonna skip that, right?
Yeah, I'll leave that for you then.
No. Yeah,
No, you
we'll
can do it.
just go to glowing rectangles. No, you want to go there?
Yeah, I'll do that afterwards.
Oh,
Yeah,
all
I'll do
right.
the going after rectangles after the Kia.
All right, I threw this in because anybody who has a Hyundai or Kia for the last 5 or 6 years has probably known about this, about them getting stolen. So anyway, I'll let you guys say. I probably won't read it all, and this was on The Verge. So I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to share screen. Okay. And of course, this was good for me. Like I said, they've already fixed the issue with mine with a recall. Hyundai and Kia agreed to a $200 million settlement over TikTok car theft challenge. Thieves known as Kia Boys would post instructional videos on YouTube and TikTok about how to bypass a vehicle security using tools as simple as a USB cable. And I gather a lot of cars got stolen all over the US. And but Kia and Hyundai came up with a fix in that you had to go in for a recall. And for me, it was like 1 day and I had my car back. Let's see, with tech feed, let's see, Lou saying, if you learn AI to make more money, then you are going to win. I agree. It's up to the individual. That's kind of how I see it. Okay, and yeah, Eleanor said she agreed with both of you. All right, back to Kia. I'm going to read a view to get rid of the ads. But Honda and Kia agreed to a $200 million settlement stemming from a class action lawsuit related to a rash of car thefts inspired by a viral social media challenge on TikTok. Oh, and by the way, those of us with Kias from 2017, 18, 19, well, I had a fatal engine problem. Now, I bought my car in 2021. Yeah. And it was a 2017, so it was way out of being covered. But Kia replaced my engine, gave me a brand new engine for nothing, and I didn't have to pay a dime. So that's what they've done with a lot of people. So I just wanted to let you know about that.
That's nice of them.
Yeah, they've done that with thousands and thousands of people because they know it's their fault. You know, you give somebody a car with a bad engine, that's on you. So they replaced most of us and covered us all under the warranty, even though most of us are long out of warranty. So I think they just did the right thing, and I was very happy. Anyway, the so-called Kia challenge on the social media platform TikTok has led to hundreds of car thefts nationwide. Get this, including at least 14 reported crashes and 8 fatalities, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Thieves known as the Kia Boys would post instructional videos on YouTube and TikTok about how to bypass the vehicle security system using tools as simple as a USB cable. And from what I heard, it was very easy and took 5 minutes. The thefts are reportedly easy to pull off because many Hyundai and Kia vehicles manufactured between 2015 and 2019 lack electronic immobilizers, and I think that's what they fixed with the recall. That would prevent would-be thieves from simply breaking in and bypassing the ignition. So they made it so you can't bypass my ignition anymore. The feature is standard equipment on nearly all vehicles from the same period made by other manufacturers. These, known as the Kia Boys, would post instructional videos on YouTube and TikTok. The settlement only applies to around 9 million vehicles that lack push-button ignitions and anti-thefts. And I have a push-button ignition, but I didn't have the anti-theft. I do now. In February, the companies offered free software updates to extend the length of the alarm sound from 30 seconds to 1 minute and require a key on the ignition switch to turn the vehicle on. The settlement also includes up to 145 million for out-of-pocket losses for consumers who had cars stolen. Wait a minute, I'm trying to see where Ted is at. Let me take this down for a minute. Oh, okay. Wait, Ted is back in here. All right, let me stop screen. And there he is. Can we hear you, or are you not ready yet?
No, you can hear me.
Okay, yeah, very, very echoey, but we can hear you. Well, it was nice riding home with you.
Likewise.
So anyway, I'm not going to read the rest of the story, but anyway, they settled it for the people who needed to be settled, and the rest of us had car recalls, and they got it fixed. So just very happy about that.
So these guys, the Kia boys on TikTok, were making a fuss for all those Kia owners, huh?
Yeah, and I gathered there were thousands of them. You know,
TikTok, huh?
Yeah, Big House. Big House asked which Kia car. I gather any of them between 2015 and 2019, because one of the young girls on my job, she's like in her 20s, and she was keeping up with me getting the new engine because she has the exact same car that I have, and they replaced mine for 100% for free. So.
This may not have all could have been avoided had TikTok been banned on schedule.
The engine thing wasn't from TikTok. It was they just made a bad engine in a bunch of Kias and a bunch of Hondas.
George. Not your thing, George. I mean this thing.
Oh yeah. I'm glad it didn't happen to me, because I would have been looking for those TikTok boys so I can get my hands on them. Because says a new engine on a vehicle over 50K would be a blessing. Yes, it is. The Kia place is about 2 doors away from my the area where I report to work. So when I got it replaced, of course, I was driving an Enterprise car for a few weeks, and I brought back my car and checked in the Enterprise car, and the manager of the branch comes up, well, let's see that engine. Let's see if they really put it in a brand new engine. So I opened the hood, and he's like, oh, they really did give you a brand new engine. So he was impressed. So that was pretty cool. You know?
He's like, darn, he guess you won't be coming anytime soon to buy cars.
That's all right. That's all right. As long as I'm moving cars for him, he's happy. You know, my job is with a bunch of other guys and a couple of ladies, about 17 of us, and we move cars from one branch to the other as they need them, and they're very happy with us when we get the cars to where they need them to rent. So. He's happy with me pretty much. Okay. Yeah, Big House says he drives a 2017 Kia Sorento. Yeah, I would definitely check with Kia to see if that has any issues. But the way they've been fixing the cars like mine, they've been waiting until they completely fail. My car started making engine noise one day, and throughout the day, I'm like, maybe it'll go away. And it kept getting louder and louder. It was going, it got bad. And at the end of a work day, I only work 3 days a week, but I got it home, and it was just barely got it home. The next morning, I couldn't get it out of the driveway. So I called the tow truck, and I was able to, the driveway here is very, very steep. I was able to get it up to the top of the driveway, and it died again. And that's how I got it to the Kia dealer. But I think they're waiting until these things fail before they even talk to you about it. And I guess that's because the majority are not failing, but thousands of them did. So I don't know how many they replaced. Yeah, Lewis says his 2 nieces had Kia. Like I said, if it wasn't between 15 and 19, you were probably okay.
So they guys better keep an eye on his.
Yeah. He said they had the bad lifter recall. Yeah, he passed that test. So anyway, I was very happy, and of course since the Kia deal is only 2 doors away from the branch that I work out of course the guy knows me and the manager there very well, so he's very friendly to me. In fact, we were delivering cars there today. He's like, George, how's the car doing? I said, it's doing great, thanks to you. You know. Oh, Louis said it wasn't a Kia, it was the Yaris. Yeah, Yaris is
Toyota?
I don't know, it's Russian. Is it Russian? It's European, I'm pretty sure. Oh, it is Toyota. I didn't know that. I thought Yaris was European. Okay. Shows you what I know. Okay.
No, it is in Europe. They do sell it in Europe.
Okay.
You rarely see it here in the States.
Yeah, they don't sell them here. I knew that. All right, are we going to glowing rectangles?
Yeah.
All right, I'm pulling it up.
Did you go over the story that Minnesota banned TikTok though?
No, I didn't even know it.
Oh yeah, they banned it, and I don't mean like for government workers. They banned it in the state.
Yeah, and they're following Montana. Montana banned it in the state too.
No wait, I meant Montana. What did I say?
You said Minnesota.
Montana. Sorry.
Oh well, yeah, I did that story a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
And I did see a video yesterday. All I saw was the title because I was working, but it said that they're expecting a lot of states to start completely banning TikTok. So I guess that's what we're looking forward to.
I bet you Montana doesn't have a lot of Kia thefts from the Kia boys.
But Montana probably has more guns than most states. I think more legal gun owners in most states.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's get.
I didn't get up. Okay, let me share screen. Okay, here we go. All right.
All right, ladies and gents. If you are a techie and you want to keep abreast of all the latest tech news, you don't need to rely on an algorithm or AI to do it. Simply go to reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles. And there you will see a bunch of stories, sites, videos, YouTube videos about tech listed by fellow techies such as yourself. No machine learning algorithm involved, just people like you. So just go onto the site. Again, that's reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles.
All right, shall we take a look at the voting for today? I'm going to click top.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, all right.
Top story today.
All right, so he got the most another guy that I subscribe to. So he got the most updates today. Yeah, he has the Friday checkout every week, and he does a pretty good job of reporting. He's from somewhere over in Europe.
Germany,
okay. Yeah.
Or as we like to say, doucheland.
Deutschland. Eleanor's first language is German, so she can tell me how to pronounce it properly. Even though Eleanor was born here, she learned German before she learned English because everybody in her house spoke German.
Let's see. So yeah, I mean, I didn't even know Oppo made chips. For some reason, he's talking about serious technology landscape. Don't know why. Makes me want to click on it.
Yeah, that I did not know.
And apparently NVIDIA and MediaTek are doing a brand together on chips. That's interesting.
That's very interesting.
So definitely go check that out. Did you click on it?
But you're not going to hear it because I have my earbuds in, so it didn't matter.
So the second story, apparently there's a fight happening on the tablets.
Juan is causing a fight, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so, that's the thing with, some gadget guy. He's always causing fights between some sort of gadgets,
And he does a great job. And for those who don't know, some gadget guy, Juan Bagnell, he's the one who runs the site and keeps it maintained. So you can thank him for the exposure that you're getting, or anybody is getting that's putting stuff here.
He does great fight videos. But I can't really recall whenever there's a clear winner in the fight. But anyway, this fight is between the OnePlus Pad and the Razer Edge. And I think 2023 has been a very interesting year for Android tablets. What do you think?
I agree 100%. Now, is the OnePlus Pad out yet, or he just has a pre-version?
It's out.
Okay.
It was out like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
again, I was tempted. I'm tempted once again, but I have too many tablets as it is.
Yeah, between OnePlus now entering it, Google now entering it, Samsung, getting more affordable devices out there,
Exactly.
and now a bunch of Android, gaming tablets or gaming. I don't know what they're like. They're tablets, but they're more geared for gaming in a way.
Yeah. Well, that's the one he's showing on the left here.
Yeah.
The Razer Edge.
Yeah. 2023 is a good year for the Android tablets.
Yeah.
Then we have oh no, I'm going to play it. Then the third top video is shared by Suspicious Hotel 9689. I think he's talking about upgrading to a Galaxy S23 Ultra. Oh,
Yep.
I phone so yesterday.
And I would highly recommend it because I absolutely love this phone.
But that goes to show you can actually catch people's blogs on the Reddit, on the subreddit.
That's
not
true.
just videos.
Yep.
And if we scroll down to scroll down some more.
And there we are, right there.
That's where we are. Yeah, we are number 6 for now.
Yeah. Now wait, let me give us an upvote. Okay. Got one upvote anyway.
Yeah, that means we're number 4. We're tied for 4.
Cool. I like it.
I can make us number 5.
He sold his AirPods Max. Okay. Oh, 9 to 5 Google. Oh yeah, I saw this video was out there. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. I love 9 to 5 Google's videos. I think they do a great job. So are we done?
Yeah, actually, I'm just scrolling down. This week has been a weird week for e-bikes on the subreddit.
I'm when I ride in the park now, I see so many e-bikes, and I'm like, to me, e-bikes make sense if you're using them to commute. But if
like me.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're buying a bike for exercise, you're working against yourself by buying an electric bike because you're not going to get as much exercise. That makes no sense to me. Both of them. I have 2 outside bikes and I have 2 inside bikes. All of them are manual because I want to exercise. I don't want it to be done for me.
You have 4 bikes? Isn't that a lot?
I have 2 inside bikes, 2 outside bikes. Yes.
Oh, the inside bikes can go outside. They're stationary, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I have 2 stationary bikes and I have 2 outside bikes. I have a Trek and another one and a Batch.
Isn't 2 inside bikes a lot though?
Not for me. Not when you exercise as much as I do. You have to remember, I've had my own gym for quite a few years now, at least 20 years.
Are they like for different things?
One's recumbent and one's upright. One's like the same one you find in all the big gyms, and the other, and we worked our way up to that for years. And the other one's a recumbent that I bought about 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
No, more like 7 years ago.
But apparently, though, there's this new brand of e-bike on the block called the Van Powers.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard of it.
Yeah, they've been they've been on this subreddit for a while now. To me, I feel like they're an alternative version of the Rad Power bikes.
Okay, yeah, and for you, it makes sense that you would follow it because you do commute on a bike.
Yep. And it's hot here in Texas, so if I could, come to work less sweaty,
yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah, but even when I lived in Orlando and rode my motorcycle to work, now keep in mind I was riding about 83 miles each way, but because it was Florida, I was still getting to work sweaty even though I was on a motorcycle.
And then look, it's not happening in the subreddit, but apparently Marcus Brownlee is doing Ask Me Anything.
Where is it here?
It's on the. No, it's on the. It's in a different subreddit. It's the Ask Me Anything. It's in the Ask Me Anything subreddit.
Well, the only one I highlight, of course, is the glowing rectangles. So, all right, I'm going to close this one out.
Okay. He's a professional ultimate frisbee player and golfer and newly minted car enthusiast.
You didn't know he was a professional frisbee player?
I knew about the frisbee. I didn't know he was a professional golfer too.
I didn't know that. No, that I didn't know. He's been a professional frisbee player since he was in college.
Oh, you got to collaborate on Sesame Street. I did not know.
I didn't know that either. Did you see the day when he put the picture of himself? He was walking through Times Square, and the big board in Times Square had a picture of him.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool. You know. Anyway, we show you the glowing rectangles every week, folks. Just so you know, there's a place you can get more exposure and put other people's stuff there to get more exposure too, if you want to. So that's pretty much all our stories for this week, folks. And as always, Ted comes in and saves the day, as he always does. Let's see. Big House says, first Brian said, do you think AI can replace teachers? Okay, I believe the shortage will continue to be an issue. I would think in some respects, or most respects, they probably could replace teachers. I wouldn't see why not. But then, of course, they wouldn't have to go to class. They could probably stay home.
I think AI could replace teachers in the sense that AI could build curriculums. And
I think they could do more than that. I think
and
they
then
could,
and do it in such a way that they don't need highly trained people like teachers to follow the curriculums.
But I think the AI in a few years they'll be able to interact with the kids probably as well as teachers or better.
I don't know. Can they do it better with the kids?
Keep in mind that AI can think, hundreds of thousands of times faster than we can. So yeah, I think
and you know what?
Be better.
Yeah, you're right. And AI doesn't have boundaries, like teachers have that boundary.
And that, well, we don't have teachers with boundaries in this country much anymore. Just my opinion. Big House had, let's see. I hope when the Kia boys grow up, someone steals their car. There, I said it. Oh, see, if I could get my hands on them, I'd do more than steal their car.
Kia boys.
But I would do it to them. So that's just
Kia boys, the Kia boys.
I don't like thieves, and I've never liked thieves. And my attitude is, if you get a chance to hurt a thief, hurt him. That's just me.
Okay.
But I was raised with a bunch of mafia wise guys, and I know. Because I don't think I could ever get used to driving an hour or more at work. My commute is 15 minutes. Yes, Eleanor was always the same way in Jersey and in Florida and here.
There you go, Big House.
When I worked for GTE, which ended up becoming Verizon later, I drove an hour and 15 minutes for over a year to work from Orlando to Tampa. And then when I worked on the Space Coast, I worked on the FBI database that they use right now. And I drove to the Space Coast every day for about a year and a half, including Saturdays and Sundays too. But driving was always a pleasure to me. It still is. Matter of fact, it's more of a pleasure the older I get. So, but I'm just obsessed with driving, and I always will be. Yeah, but see, I don't want to hurt people other than the bad people. I just don't like criminals. And given the freedom to hurt a criminal, yes, I'm going to hurt him. If I can hurt him and nobody knows I hurt him, that's ideal for me.
Even Robin Hood, George?
Is Robin Hood a criminal? I don't know that I consider Robin Hood a criminal. Now, the Robin Hood on Wall Street, they're criminals, yes.
There's no Robin Hood on Wall Street.
There's the company Robin Hood, who I think are thieves. They were in the news for about 6 months.
Yeah, you're talking about those guys. Oh, yeah.
I think they're thieves. Now, I wouldn't hurt them, but I sure would like to see them get locked up. But now they're back to advertising like nothing ever happened, that's our system, isn't it? That's just me, though. I'm a hard nose. I'm an old timer and a hard nose. So.
Let's see. I'm just going through this. Through the Marcus Brownlee's AMA, a lot of stuff. Someone just asked him what he thoughts about the Linus Tech Tips retiring.
Yeah, and what did he say?
Marcus said that he would never consider selling his business.
Okay. When I saw you post it, I stopped subscribing to Linus maybe 4.5 years ago, a long time ago.
Wow.
I never particularly liked Linus. Never particularly took to him.
That was like a lifetime. The the channels have evolved since then. I don't watch them as much, but I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
probably haven't watched it. Yeah, I probably don't even know today's version of it. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, there's the Tech Quickie, then there's the podcast, and I don't even know what I forgot what the other one is. Short Circuit, that's like more of the unboxing ones, and
I
then the
never,
regular Linus one.
I never heard of that one.
Yeah, like I said, it's been through. It's been through some evolutions. The company since 4 years.
But he didn't say why he's retiring, right?
Oh no, he did. He was actually very candid. He even discussed money, which he's always funny about that.
So why? So what was his ultimate reason?
The ultimate reason was that he didn't feel like he was as good as CEO as he could have been in order to take Linus Media Group
to the
next level.
I'll give him credit for that.
So
that's a commendable reason, I think.
So he's stepping down as CEO, and he's going to be the chief visionary officer.
Okay.
And the point is, like, it's a sort of role where he keeps the heart of the company. He makes sure the heart of the company stays as what it is when he founded it.
Yeah, yeah.
But here's the thing.
That sounds very commendable to me.
But here's the crazy part. The CEO he picked is the same person he used to work for the NCIS store.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Like, that's a crazy evolution. Like, because he started making YouTube videos for them.
Right.
And then, I'm surprised they allowed him to just, take that YouTube channel and do his own thing.
Right.
And then the store went out of business. I'm just like, whoa, okay, that's a whole story.
Now who works for who?
Who would have thought?
Cool. That's cool. That to me is a very great American success story. I love stories like that.
Yeah. Just need one little bit of spicy scandal, and we can take it to Hollywood, George. There's a strike, George. There's a writer's strike. We could take this story to Hollywood and pitch it.
I know there's a writer's strike, but I'm not. You probably got the wrong guy, because I'm not much for bad mouthing just about anybody.
We're not bad mouthing. We're gonna pitch a success story. Who said anything about bad mouthing?
No. You said something about what do you call it?
A scandal, a little scandal spice. Yeah.
I don't
spice it up. We gotta spice it up, George.
Scandal stuff would probably not include me. I'm not.
This is little scandal stuff, George, just to spice it up.
I'm not the spice it up type. I'm kind of old and boring.
Well, chat, guys, audience members.
I always said at work, if why don't you stay home and tell them you're sick? And my attitude is, because God hears everything I say. So lying comes very difficult to me. It's very difficult for me to do, because I know who's listening.
Well, guys, why don't you help George out and give us some ideas for the little spicy stories that we could add into.
Don't give us any ideas. My
Linus Texas story that we could pitch to Hollywood.
I have enough bad ideas already.
Or maybe we could just ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, there you go. Who doesn't have?
Shouldn't that be the first thing that
GPT? Who doesn't have any bounds or any morals? Yeah. Okay.
I think, isn't this a good time for Hollywood to adopt ChatGPT to make it better so that they could get over this writer's strike?
I have seen articles where the writers are all terrified of chat. Part of this writer's strike is because of ChatGPT. They're all terrified about their jobs because people have used it to write scripts already, and successfully too.
Successfully?
Successfully, yes, successfully. I gather successfully enough to put terror in all these writers.
Well, how are we defining success? Is success meaning that?
I'm not defining success. These writers defined it. They're the ones who said that ChatGPT could take their jobs away.
Oh, wow.
And they're very, very, very worried about it. I've seen multiple articles about it. So I don't know how good it is, but I guess they think it's good.
No, wow, okay.
So I'm sure in whatever new contract they work out, it's going to have something about putting some restrictions on what ChatGPT can do with the Hollywood scripts and that kind of stuff.
I would never go for that. Whew. If I was a Hollywood exec.
My impression is, and if the Hollywood execs don't go for it, they're not going to get any writers back at all, because that's how terrified these writers are of ChatGPT.
Well, if they don't get any rights back, I guess then the Hollywood execs are just gonna have to focus all their power on using AI. Then,
and that's the answer. If it was 100% that it could take their place, I'm thinking it might be 75, 80%, but the other 20%, where are you going to get that? You're going to need writers for that.
That's where you outsource to other countries.
Oh yeah, that's possible, I guess.
Or maybe the Hollywood execs could actually do something more with their jobs and earn their paycheck and go over the scripts themselves.
My guess is they're earning their paycheck. Nobody gives anybody millions of dollars unless they're doing something that. It's always been my experience that the companies who are paying execs millions and millions, they're not paying them that for nothing. Those guys usually outwork everybody else in the company, in my opinion. That's what I've always found.
Did you hear that?
That's why I found at Citibank, Payne Weber, all the big places I ever worked.
I think, who was it? Was it Wall Street Journal that pretty much put out that the reason why the inflation is so high currently is because executive level bonuses are the cause, and not necessarily, more workers are getting paid?
They've been saying that for 40 years, Ted. I can remember 40 years ago them saying the exact same things.
Oh, okay.
So,
did you hear the Herman Miller? Never mind. Anyway, moving on.
So who's waiting for these shows while the writers? I have no idea, Big House. My impression is that supposedly things are at a halt, but somebody's putting these shows out. So the stuff that I've seen on some of the videos is that, okay, this stuff was written, the stuff that we're seeing come out right now. So what's going to come out in 6 months? I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, the shows that you're watching now has already been, was written last year.
Yeah.
But, like current shows, like, The Daily Show, The Current Show, or Light Show, stuff that's, daily, those are off the air now.
Okay, yeah, mine's saying we need better writing. So, but Ted Lasso has been disappointing. It's interesting to see. It's interesting to see how long this strike is going to last. I have a feeling if the executives don't get in, this strike's going to last a very, very long time. I could be wrong.
Oh, well, that's so sad. Well, I guess we just have to read books then, huh?
I feel bad for the families that are not getting paid. I always feel bad for the people who are not getting paid. That's just me, though.
Yeah.
This is why I always avoided being a boss on my job, and why I pretty much stayed in contracting as a programmer, because even if I knew somebody deserved to be fired, my first thought is always, well, what about his family? So I don't think I could fire anybody. That's just me, though.
You got to do it like a Band-Aid, right off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I don't think I could do that. I had a couple of people reporting to me, one at Payne Weber and one at another company, and they drove me crazy. The one at Payne Weber was very good, but the guy, when I worked in Orlando, the young guy, he was a great programmer. He was still going to college, but he wouldn't come in some days, and he drove me nuts. And he deserved to be fired, but when he did work, he was awesome. So what do you do with a guy like that? I don't know. I didn't end up having to decide, thank God. So, anyway, all right, folks. Thanks to Ted, as always. It's been much more interesting. Remember how I told you folks that he likes to mess with the lighting? See, he's doing it like he always does.
That's not my fault. It's the sun. It's going down. What am I going to do? I can't tell the sun I can't pay the sun overtime. Hey, everybody wants money.
Guess what? We already know you have lights. So there.
You think paying the sun overtime is cheap? That costs money. Inflation, George.
Well, you're making lots of money. You're working 2 jobs.
2 jobs?
Yeah, you got your photography business and you got your job.
Oh, that photography business is on hiatus while I transition to IT.
I see Big House is okay. Big House has a little bit of a harder side than me. He said I could fire somebody with no remorsation. And I agree but I still would feel bad. That's just me, though. And we're all different. I mean, obviously, we need people like you, because that's for sure. Because you sure don't want me in charge. I had a buddy who started when I first started programming back in '81. He and I started the same day. Gerard turned out to be probably the smartest person I've ever met in my life, and I mean the smartest person. Well, he ended up being a manager at
At the Shake Shack?
no, like Payne Weber. Wasn't Payne Weber though. Who's the other? It starts with an M.
MasterCard?
Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch. He ended up being a manager at Merrill Lynch, and a programming manager. He had a bunch of people work for him, including programming contractors. He had one contractor who he could not fire because he couldn't bring himself to do it, a lady. So what he was doing, he was staying at work every night. She would go home, and he was going and fixing her code every night because he couldn't bring himself to fire her.
Oh,
He was as bad as me.
wow.
And
Oh, wow.
he finally, about a year later, he ended up taking a lateral move so he could get out of that job, and he didn't have to be over anybody, but he ended up getting the same amount of money. But he was like me. He couldn't fire her.
Wow.
And Gerard wrote the most perfect code I have ever seen in my entire life. Let's put it this way. The rest of us, and this was our first job in '81, as a junior programmer, the rest of us would write programs and we would test them, and then, okay, we had this mistake and that mistake. You have, a few mistakes, and you fix the mistakes. Gerard would write a program that was so good, the first time he ran it ever, there was never a mistake. Not one. And for the 2 years that I worked with him, he never wrote one program with one mistake, not even a tiny mistake. That's how smart he was. Gerard used to sit we would socialize at night sometimes. Gerard could start talking about space-time continuums and black holes and almost lose you, but it made it sound so fascinating. He was that smart, and he was as nice as he was smart. So it's kind of like the perfect guy to have for a boss.
Yeah.
Let's see. Brian said, "Big house dropping hammers like the Kingpin." Exactly. Actually, I'm in the middle of binge watching Daredevil, so I'm kind of enjoying Kingpin stuff. Because I have a couple of guys that my department that need ASAP. Yeah, and if they need to go, they need to go. I'm just not the guy you want telling them to go, but somebody does need to tell them to go. Brian, I work with a hazardous chemical that take you out, and these guys I'm talking about aren't. Yeah, then they definitely have to go. I think even I would override my feelings about it because it becomes dangerous to people. Because I agree with you 100%. Yep. All right, we're done. Why'd you put Pendergrass?
Because I knew this was going to be a funny looking team on my end.
Don't you think you need to sing something if you're going to use Teddy Pendergrass? Oh, no. Okay.
What? Playing Teddy Pendergrass on YouTube Music.
Yeah, I know. You're going to make Eleanor swoon. She loves Teddy. All women love Teddy, I guess. Let's see. Oh, wait. Brian. I was a friendly work boxing mix or dunk tank with the supervisor on the plank. I'd go for that. Yeah. All right, we're done. Thank you, folks, for joining us. As always, thank Ted, as has become very usual, for coming in and saving the show like he always does. And we will be back next week. I hope everybody has a very blessed and pleasant weekend. And as I try to remind myself today to say, let's always remember we all do better when we love each other. So say I have a loving side. All right, folks. See you next week.